Alrighty, so today we're going to go ahead and we're going to get into how you set your Poursteady up to wireless internet, as well as to troubleshoot any issues that you may be having. So before we jump into that, we're going to go over the different types of Wi-Fi dongles that you might have. Starting out with the oldest one, which is this little guy right here. We use this one for any machine that was under 2.0, which would be the version number on your SD card. If you did have one of these, you're definitely going to want to both upgrade your version number as well as install a boot utility card. So just contact us at support@poursteady.com and we'll be able to get you situated that to upgrade to our newest and best versions and Wi-Fi dongles. The next version that we have is our Panda PAU7, which is going to be used up to from version 2 to 2.1.3. However, this can be used on all future versions as well, unlike our newest Panda, which is utilized on 2.1.4 and up. So make sure that if you're upgrading and you have one of these, that we upgrade you to the latest version. But don't worry, that's something that we can do over the air at any time when you're hooked up with this guy here. Alrighty, so let's get into setting up our Poursteady on Wi-Fi. Alrighty, so now as we can see here on our My.Poursteady app, we have our gray light indicating that the Poursteady is currently not online. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to set that up. Now you can do this on any device that you have, a laptop, a cell phone, both Android and Apple. Right here we're going to go ahead and we're going to do this on an iPad, since that's traditionally what you probably have right there at your disposal. Now make sure that you're not doing this on your point of sales iPad, however, or at least disconnect it from that network while setting up Wi-Fi. Otherwise you might have issues with your connection. But we're going to go ahead and we're going to go to settings and we're going to go right over to Wi-Fi. And we're going to look through here and refresh the Wi-Fi list to find the signal that's going to state our Poursteady serial number. So as we can see right here, we see Poursteady-PS904, and that is the Poursteady that we are trying to connect to. So go ahead and you're going to click that right up. If you have a pop-up that says to automatically connect to this network, make sure to disable this, otherwise you might have issues connecting to that portal. We see this here popping up, and this will be able to have our captive portal for us to log in with our network name as well as the password. However, if you're right now having issues connecting to this, you can go ahead and use one of the links in the description, depending on your device, to be able to force that captive portal to be opened. So right here we have Poursteady-net, and that is our Wi-Fi network. And we're going to go ahead and we're going to type in our password. Alrighty, and then once your password is typed in, you're going to go ahead, press connect. As you're connecting, this is going to go ahead and this will let us know for the connection to be successful by having the lights on your Poursteady flash. If it is not successful, you will be able to see back in your list of Wi-Fi networks that Poursteady network pop up again, and in which case you can try going through the captive portal or move forward to our troubleshooting steps. Alrighty, so one of the ways that you'll be able to see that your Poursteady is also online is to take a look at your dongle. As we can see right here on this one, if you look closely, you can see a bunch of green lights on right through those slits there. And then that's how you know that your Poursteady is online. Just as if those lights were not on, you would know that it was offline. If you have an older version of the dongle, there's going to be a blue light right there, which is going to show you if the Poursteady is online or not to Wi-Fi. Alright, so I was able to show you what a successful connection looks like for your Poursteady. However, sometimes it doesn't go as smoothly as that. You might need to take a couple of troubleshooting steps to get it to work perfectly. So the first one, super easy and always the first thing to do whenever you have any issues with any machines or internet for that matter, is to run a quick power cycle on your device. So all you're going to have to do is just unplug your machine, wait about 10-15 seconds, and then replug it back in. So go ahead and do that right now. Alright, and when it's replugged, it's going to take about 2 to 3 minutes for your Poursteady to go through the boot and home process, which we will see by the lights flashing on the buttons, and then the nozzle moving back and forth, then side to side. Alright, so if power cycling your Poursteady didn't work and you still can't connect to that captive portal, what you might need to do then is to reset the wireless networks on your Poursteady. So the first thing that you're going to do is you are going to disconnect your Marco boiler from the Poursteady. It's easiest to disconnect it right from the boiler itself. And then we're going to go ahead and we're going to hold that station 1 button for about 90 seconds until all the lights flash. The reason why that we disconnect that Marco boiler is because right now water would be free flowing through the nozzles, spilling everywhere, and you don't want to have a flooding issue while dealing with your Wi-Fi. Now that the lights have flashed, we can go ahead, release that button, and we'll be able to go back to the other section of the video that we covered on how to set up your Poursteady on Wi-Fi through the captive portal. Alrighty, so now that we have our Poursteady successfully hooked up online, you'll be able to see by that green light right there next to your Poursteady name. And a quick test to make sure that everything is working well is we're going to go ahead and we're going to change a recipe on our device, and then looking over to the Poursteady to watch all those lights flash to ensure that the recipe just synced up. Alright, and make sure to reconnect that Marco boiler so that you'd be able to pour water. Alrighty, so if you still are having issues connecting to your Poursteady, or if you haven't even been able to get to that captive portal in the first place, a couple of other troubleshooting techniques that you can do is check to make sure that the Wi-Fi dongle is not located inside the Poursteady or in any shielded area, such as being surrounded by metal or anything that can interfere with the Wi-Fi signal being sensed. In addition, you want to make sure that it's not anywhere that's going to be hot or steamy or wet, such as right on top of your boiler. Definitely do not put that there because it will cause damage to the dongle and causing it to overheat and not connect to the internet. Another thing that it could be is that if you have your Poursteady connected to both Ethernet and Wi-Fi, you might be having issues going into having a cross communication and having no internet popping up, or just defaulting directly to your Ethernet connection. Final thoughts on this is if none of these are successful, you may have to contact your IP provider, who would be able to make sure that the Poursteady isn't being blocked by your router, especially if you have a firewall, and then they would be able to assist there. We can do as much as we can on our end to try to help with this. However, this is primarily going to be an IT professional's job to get that synced up. Final thoughts on that as well is if none of these things work whatsoever, go ahead and contact us at support@poursteady.com, and we'll be able to move on to other steps that most likely would be including replacing some electronics or your SD card itself. Alrighty, until then, happy brewing!